Of all the things that they've been messing up, thank God they haven't screwed up Spider-Man. So yeah, I just came out of the theater from Spider-Man Brand New Day, the fourth Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. And yeah, like I just said, this one, Marvel with me has been on has just, they've not really been doing it for me lately. And kind of somewhat unsurprisingly, this is the best movie they've done since the last Spider-Man movie. And I don't know how much it's got to go towards a Sony or Marvel. But the fact is, Spider-Man as a character, I think at least in this movie, they got him right still. So basically, this is probably the best Spider-Man movie of the Tom Holland series on its own merits. Has it's a little stretched, a little thin, like some of the other movies, but he's the most Spider-Man in this one. He is not quite all on his own, like he's not his own hero, but he is more on his own compared to the previous iterations or the previous movies and stuff like that. He's still growing, which I think is the filmmakers and the writers and stuff. It's like they're still giving him an arc, so it's still, there's a little bit of meat to the movie, and it's not just spectacle, and it's not purely fan service, because that's really what No Way Home had going for it, was a lot of fan service, and it did it well. But the novelty wears off upon rewatches, and this one has a little bit more going for it. I liked it. It had some raw problems, but I liked it more than I didn't like it. You know what I mean? And so, without going into too many spoilers, yeah, this movie's chock full of a bunch of characters. His kind of, I'm rambling a lot or anything like that, but it's just like the best Spider-Man, like what a lot of other people have said, this is probably the best action of Spidey I've seen on screen. The way he moves, the way he fights and stuff like that. I mean, the way it really is Spider-Man. And if you like the way he moves, like in some of the video games or some of the comics and stuff, you'll see him really showcase his abilities here. And it's a more mature, not necessarily mature, but like it is Spider-Man in his 20s, and it's not, the movie has aged up properly for that kind of, with what he's going through. This is kind of hard. It's kind of hard for me to review this without getting into spoilers, mainly because of the fact that I don't even know what was revealed in the trailers. Because honestly, I avoided most of the trailers because I don't, I try not to react to too much, right? But the movie felt a little, it wasn't bloated, but it did have a lot going on. But it managed to tiptoe the line between too much and not losing focus. But the strongest moments, I think, were the character moments between Peter and MJ and Ned and all of that. That was probably the strongest moments. The other portions of the movie, the other plot lines, had some strong details as well, but it didn't stick the landing quite as good as those moments. And I think the movie might have been better served if it being focused solely on Spider-Man, but for what it did with tying in a bunch of peripheral characters, like with with Frank Castle, the Hulk, and the main villain and all that, it was it did its job well enough without feeling too overbloated and too stretched thin. So it strikes that balance way better than the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3 did. God, I wish I could talk more without it being spoilers, so I guess I'll try to see about try to editing this with the spoiler tag. But yeah, this movie, I really did like this one. This one was a fantastic movie. I will want to watch this one again if I have the time. If I can make the time to go watch it again, I wouldn't mind going to see it again. And I'm so happy that I got to see its opening night, because from what I understand, this movie's going to make a fuckload of money. The theater that I had to go to get this, parking lot was full on a Thursday afternoon, and I've never seen it this full. Granted, there's a little bit of construction going on, so I couldn't, it was harder to find parking, but it was like, it is full. I had to, park in a spot I never had to park to at before, so I've never seen it this busy. And yeah, it was a packed audience, so it was a good time seeing it. Had my girlfriend out there with me, and she really did like some of the emotional moments of the movie. So I will say this on that note. I know people have gotten sick and tired of Zendaya, but she really shined in this. With a few moments, there's a few tender, sort of like emotional, like heavier character moments with the MJ, and I really saw a little bit more range out of Zendaya in this one than I've seen her in most other movies that I've seen her in. So this one, she really got a chance to shine. So it didn't feel quite shoehorned in, like it was in she made her presence worth it, if for lack of a better term. Tom Holland matured up, is his own guy, still a little awkward, but has that little. He's great, he's not no notes for that. God, I can't. I might split this up into spoiler territory. Fuck it, screw it, whatever. Fuck it, spoiler. I don't think it was necessary to make Sadie Sink Jean Grey. They had an opportunity to make her a proper Mary Jane in this world, but I guess with the chemistry that there's already been had with the Zendaya and Tom Holland, they don't want to ruin that, to fix that, what's not broken there, you know what I mean? But I'm still confused on how, if they tie in an established Omega level mutant like Jean Grey in there, like how they gonna tie the rest of the X-Men in there is the problem. That's my major gripe about the movie. How they handled her in and of herself was great, but just the greater story implications is probably like they might have shot themselves in the foot, I'm afraid. Frank Castle was awesome in the movie. They did a decent job of toning him down to the level of Spider-Man, but it's not consistent with what we've seen him before in the Netflix series and what we've already seen him in the Daredevil and stuff. However, I haven't seen his TV thing yet, so I'm not sure how he's compared. But he does his job. The back and forth between him and Tom Holland is just great chemistry between those guys. It's fantastic. I really don't like Mark Ruffalo, but for what little he was in the movie, it was pretty cool, and it was awesome seeing Savage Hulk again, which was cool. Again, a lot of the action set pieces had a lot of fan service, visual fan service, and little nods towards the comics, stuff like that. I mean, the very end, I had a cool Civil War reference with Peter and Frank. A lot of cover art from from all the various iconic cover arts from the comic books. They kind of do an homage to in this movie. Keeping Spider-Man at street level, I think, was probably the best thing they could do in this. So they kept it grounded. They kept them doing that. And I think staying away from the whole multiverse stuff from No Way Home helped. So it kept city level. It kept it like a city level threat. Again, excuse me. What they did with Sadie Sink and tying her character with getting over with her, what she was going on, what type Spider-Man has going on. They did it well, but again, I'm afraid of the long-term implications of that going forward, especially how they may or may not be tying together with the X-Men, with the Marvel stuff, which I haven't been following the Doomsday stuff. I don't have much confidence in that movie compared to this one. So, but if they're going to be bringing in the X-Men, I'm not sure how they're going to fold Jean Grey into that. But yeah, no, the action sequences are really cool. I mean, they really showcased Spidey's abilities, and they really did a good job of finally maturing him up to where he doesn't necessarily rely on his gadgets so much, but more so maturing his powers with proper Spidey sense, with real comic accurate strength and abilities and stuff, with organic webbing and stuff like so. Who knows how long that'll continue with the future films, but I liked it. Stretched thin, all over the place. If it was more Spider-Man focused, it probably would have been better. But for what they did, not bad. There were some other moments in the movie that kind of stuck out to me that I had a little bit of thoughts on. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Basically, what the overall story was, keeping Spider-Man as a proper comic hero, and they still kept that vibe. And I think if you're a fan of the Raimi movies, I kind of got into the vibe, especially with the way the movie ended, with how they hold up Spider-Man as a character. So they didn't knock him down. They didn't make him a side character in his own movie. No, he still is a proper character. And he's a proper hero, and they still keep with the aspects of him always having to make sacrifices. You know, Spider-Man wins, Peter loses, and the rest has to go toes that line. But, it had a lot of good moments of some heart. And yeah, that's about it, really. Yeah, so I might tag this as a half spoiler-free movie review, but then like close to the halfway point, I'll probably label it accordingly. But yeah, I might come back for a more in-depth spoiler review. No promises, honestly. But if I see it again, I'll probably have some more mental notes about the, not necessarily nitpicks, but just like stuff that I might have glossed over. But again, this is my fresh out of the theater reaction review. Great movie. Honestly, if you've not liked anything that Marvel has done for the past several years, if you've really been disappointed, you're not going to be disappointed here. Might have some problems here and there, but it was more good than bad. I enjoyed it. I'll tell you this much, I enjoyed it way more than Odyssey. I can tell you that much. I think this will warrant as much of a turnout, if not more, than what the Odyssey's been getting, if I'm being completely honest. And I think in terms of superhero movies, I'm willing to go out on a limb here and say that this one is going to be better than Doomsday compared to when that comes up. Who knows? We'll see in December. But I'm going to say right now that this one, they nailed it. The filmmakers have a better understanding of the characters, at least the character of Spider-Man here, than the filmmakers responsible for the other characters in the other Marvel movies. But, yep, there you have it. I recommend it. If you can get a good seat over the weekend, see it in theaters. You're going to have a blast with the audience and stuff like that. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.